The more sociable you are, the more stupid you will be. I am under no illusion that I'm some kind of social butterfly. And I am not trying to tell you that it's cool not to talk to people, because that is not what this is about. Like, if you are a person who likes to engage with people, if you're friendly, if you're sociable, how could that be bad? And then he continues by saying that being sociable is actually a form of cheating. What does that mean? Well, think about it. But if that's all you are, if you never grow out of that, that's a problem. They are the ones who just ruin everything for everybody else. And here's the thing. We all have the potential to be sociable, to be outgoing, to be funny, but only to a certain extent. And I agree, that is true. If you look at celebrities, if you look at influencers, if you look at people who are in the public eye, they tend to be very loud, very obnoxious, very over the top. And think about all the things that they told you that you had to do, all the things that they forced you to do. We end up becoming someone that we are not because we are so busy trying to make other people happy that we have forgotten what makes us happy. You are not going to be able to reach your full potential. You are not going to be able to become the best version of yourself. In fact, there is a big difference between the two. In fact, I would argue that they are probably smarter than you. They just know that life is too short to waste it on small talk, on gossip, on drama, on being the center of attention. They know that there are more important things in life than that. Being introverted simply means that you recharge your batteries alone. It doesn't mean that you hate people, that you don't like people, or that you don't want to be around people. In fact, there are plenty of studies that show that introverts can be just as sociable as extroverts, but they need alone time in order to recharge their batteries. And let me tell you something. It's not easy to find real friends, true friends, people who are going to support you, who are going to encourage you, who are going to help you, who are going to push you to be better. It's not easy to find those people, but it is possible. Now, I'm not telling you to stop being sociable, to stop being friendly, to stop being a people person. And then you need to surround yourself with people who are on the same journey as you, who are also trying to become the best versions of themselves. That's how you find your tribe. That's how you find your people. And once you find them, you will never want to let them go, because they are going to make you a better person simply by being in your life. No, I'm not telling you that. What I am telling you is to be aware of the type of people you are hanging out with, to be aware of the energy that they bring into your life, to be aware of the values that they have, to be aware of the things that they stand for, all the things that you did for them that made you unhappy. Now ask yourself this question. Did you ever do something for them that they didn't like? Did you ever say no to them when they asked you to do something that you didn't want to do? Most of us are so busy doing things for other people, for our jobs, for our families, for our friends, that we have forgotten how to do things for ourselves. We've forgotten what it feels like to be truly happy, to be truly fulfilled. We've forgotten what it means to be an individual, to have our own identity, to have our own style, to have our own beliefs. But is that really what you want to be like? Is that really the role model that you want to follow? Personally, I don't think so. I don't think that I want to be like that. I don't think that's something that I admire in people. Yes. It takes a certain type of personality to become a celebrity, to become an influencer. But that doesn't mean that you have to be like that yourself. But being a clown that comes down to your character, down to your values, down to your integrity. And I think that we should value quality over quantity when it comes to our relationships. It's better to have 10 true friends, 10 real brothers who have your back, who are there for you, who listen to you, who care about you, than 100 fake friends who are just clowns and who are just going to drag you down. I've had plenty of these people in my life. I've had plenty of fake friends who were just clowns, and they ended up ruining everything for everyone else. They would ruin parties. It's a weakness because it means that you are not secure in yourself. You are not confident in yourself, that you need constant validation from others in order to feel good about yourself. And that is actually a sign of low self-esteem. Here's a question for you. When was the last time that you did something for yourself? Something that made you happy? Something that you wanted to do? Not because you felt like you had to do it, not because someone told you that you had to do it, but because you genuinely wanted to do it. Think about it. When was the last time that you did something for yourself? It would just say the most stupid things possible, inappropriate things, things that would just make people feel uncomfortable. They would try to force themselves into situations where they really didn't belong. And that's the key difference between a true sociable person and a clown. The sociable person knows when to be serious, when to crack a joke, when to be funny, when to be the life of the party, and when to be a good listener. Clowns don't know any of that. They just do whatever the fuck they want whenever the fuck they want. And that's what makes them fake friends. Because a friend is someone who cares about others, who is there for you when you need them, who listens to you when you're going through a tough time. A clown is none of those things. Now, I want to make a distinction here between someone who is truly sociable, who is a natural leader, who is very likable, who is very charming and attractive and funny, versus someone who is just a clown, someone who is just loud, annoying, who doesn't get anything done. There is a huge difference between those two types of people. A sociable person is someone who can talk to anyone, who is able to make friends easily, who is able to navigate different social situations without a problem. They are the ones who will go to a party and immediately have a blast. They are the ones who will have friends in every single city, in every single country they travel to. They are the ones who can talk to strangers without a problem. They are the ones who are great at building relationships. If you are the person in a group that is always cracking jokes, which means you have to think up of jokes all the time, you have to entertain people, you have to make people laugh. If you are that guy, you don't have time to do other things, right? You're constantly busy entertaining everybody else. Therefore, you can't focus on your craft, whatever you are working on, whether it's your business, whether it's your studies, whether it's a project, because you are so busy socializing and making people laugh. But if you look at the people who are really, really smart, they tend to be more quiet, more reserved. They don't really speak that much. And that's why he called it cheating. No, this idea came to me when I saw a tweet from someone who basically said that if you're super sociable, it's like always talking and joking around, you're probably not too smart. And I thought that's actually quite interesting. So let's explore that idea together. Now, I know that this sounds really counterintuitive. It sounds wrong. Now, I don't want to come across as some kind of introvert who hates people or extroverts, but there is something to this idea. We all know someone who is just, every single day, just busybodying around, always has to be in the middle of everything, always has to be part of everything, always has to be the loudest one in the room. Now, we all know that these people, even though they might seem very confident, very charismatic, they are not necessarily the smartest ones in the room. I think we all know someone like that. We all know that person who was the class clown, who was the loudmouth in every single class that you had. And do you remember what happened to them? Do you still keep in touch with them? You don't. Why? Because they didn't really do anything with their lives. They were just loud. They were just annoying. They were just the class clown. Yes, it's okay to be the class clown for a little while. Now, a clown, on the other hand, well, we already know what they are like. They are annoying. So yes, being sociable is good, but being a clown is not. Now, I know that there is this idea that we live in a world that rewards being loud, that rewards being obnoxious, that rewards being the center of attention. In fact, I would argue that being like that is actually a weakness. And now, I want you to think about the people in your life, your fake friends, your fake family, your toxic girlfriends and boyfriends. And that is the danger of being too sociable, of being too much of a people pleaser. We end up losing ourselves in the process. If you hang out with clowns, if you hang out with people who are just going to drag you down, then that's exactly what's going to happen. You need to put in the work. You need to invest in yourself. You need to become the best version of yourself. And remember, being antisocial is not the same as being introverted. So the next time you see someone who is quiet, who is reserved, who doesn't talk that much, don't think that they are stupid. And that's all I have to say.